Hi everyone, today I'm talking about anxiety and how asking deep questions might hold the key to your problems. Being a human being, you probably occasionally face problems in your life that don't seem to have a solution, like feeling anxious for no reason, or feeling unhappy in your job or in a relationship that you don't know how to fix. Or perhaps it's just pure uncertainty about the future, not knowing your next steps, lacking motivation and creativity, and fearing failure. You're not alone. I know it sucks to feel stuck, frustrated, powerless, but believe it or not, we've all been there. Now, here's something that may feel both empowering and scary. When it comes to these kind of big, juicy, personal challenges, no matter how much advice you get or how many books you read, the final answer will always be up to you. You and only you have the power to solve it. But how? Well, it's simple. You already know the solutions to your problems deep inside. You already know what to do. You just need to learn how to access that knowledge, whether you want to call it self-awareness, intuition, or simply connection. The truth is that we know more about ourselves than we think. The thing is, most of this knowledge is usually hidden in a rarely accessible part of our mind, our subconsciousness. The subconscious mind is like the basement of our consciousness, or the bottom of the sea. It's dark and unexplored, and we don't know much about it because we rarely go there. But if we want to dig up those big answers, we need to bravely dive in and fish them from the corners of our mind. One of the most powerful ways to find those deeply buried questions or answers is by asking the deep questions. But wait, there's a catch. Googling deep questions or picking random journaling prompts won't exactly do it. If you want to penetrate the surface of your conscious mind and find the insights that lie beyond, you need a strategy. You need to ask the right questions, and you need to ask them well. And that's what I'm going to be talking about. So, Josh Waitzkin is an 8-time U.S. national chess champion, a 2-time world champion in Tai Chi, and the author of the book of The Art of Learning. Nowadays, Josh trains the world-class performers from a variety of different fields. He mentioned one specific exercise he uses to move through major blocks by bridging the gap between conscious and subconscious. He calls it the most important question. This is how it works. So at the end of each day, after you finish a long day at school or whatever you're doing, take some time to reflect and come up with the most important question of your day. You might be looking for a solution, a direction, a feeling. Whatever it is, make a question of it. When you've got it, write it down in your journal and then let it go. Forget about it. Take some time to relax with a good book or a meditation session and go to sleep without it on your mind. Next day in the morning, right after you wake up, make it the very first thing, that is, before you check your phone or walk your dog. Open your journal, look at the question, and spend some time brainstorming it. Why do it this way and at these specific times? Your conscious mind is most active while you're awake, and the subconscious while you sleep. By using your questioning process as a bridge between both, you're engaging the wholeness of your brain in super effective problem-solving teamwork. In his book, The Art of Thought, English psychologist Graham Wallace proposed the creative process involving 4 stages. First one is preparation, or identifying the problem. Second is incubation, which is processing the information on a subconscious level. Third, illumination, when everything becomes clear. And fourth, verification, testing if the idea really solves the problem. Solving big problems requires creative thinking. The problem is that by obsessing and constantly worrying about getting the answers, we often skip an important stage of the process, which is incubation. By allowing your sleeping brain to process your most important question and then coming back to it first thing in the morning, you're allowing incubation to happen during the night, so that illumination can take place next time you brainstorm. When we question ourselves in this way, we are also practicing the muscle of letting go, and we are learning to focus on the important themes of our lives, which leads to less problems and more progress. I've personally loved journaling and asking myself deep reflective questions. However, since I learned about Josh Waitzkin's way to use these tools as a direct connection between conscious and subconscious, both these practices started bringing me 200% more results. Let me give you an example. A while ago, I noticed that a deep melancholy had been surrounding me in everything I did consistently for a few days. This was nothing new. I had felt this way a few times before in my life, but this time, instead of letting myself get dragged down by it, I decided to pose a question to my subconscious. What is my melancholy trying to tell me? In the evening, I wrote down the question in my journal, and as I went to bed, I did my best to stop thinking about it until the morning. Then, when I woke up, there was a process that was coming to my brain. My melancholy is a sign, a prompt for me to access a new level of awareness. I'm grateful for it because it's putting me in a place of discomfort where I can't just run away anymore. It's showing me what is out of alignment in my life, and in such an obvious way that I can't look away from it. I have to move on and change. After that, my relationship with sadness changed immediately. The insights had been planted like seeds. Since then, without even thinking much, I've been taking daily steps to address the problem. Going outside more often, breathing more deeply, playing more, journaling more. This practice has also helped me improve my writing process. And so, if you want to find how to find your most important question, you can use the most important question technique, and you can use this process to ask deep questions about any area of your life: personal, professional, interpersonal, spiritual, etc. Use it for areas of stuckness. In other words, this is a perfect weapon to slice through big, hairy, scary blocks. Now, how do you find your own most important questions every day? The answer is there is no one-size-fits-all formula. Part of the beauty of this technique lies in the fact that it's highly adaptable and unique to each person. You are the only one who can define what is important for you to tackle each day. There are, however, a few tips that I found really helpful when I was brainstorming my most important questions. The first step would be to ask more questions. There's no pressure to finding your perfect, most important question every single day. Most of us are not used to doing this kind of thinking, so you might have to feel the ground and do a bit of exploration first, and that's okay. If you don't know what's the most important thing you can focus on that day, start by investigating with some preliminary questions, such as, where do I currently feel stuck? In which area do I currently have a strong desire to grow? What has happened today that has left the deepest mark in me? Asking any kind of deep questions will always lead you somewhere good. You will see certain topics and patterns coming up, and that will give you a good idea of where to focus when asking your most important question. Second step would be to go deep. As I mentioned before, if you want to access valuable insights from the depths of your subconscious mind, you need to dive in for it. Go beyond the surface. In other words, make sure your questions are deep questions. One way to do this is by trying to identify the deeper source of your problems. For example, let's say you want to start a passion project, but you're constantly getting frustrated because of your lack of motivation and your procrastination. Here are some of the examples of questions you could ask. What is the real reason why I'm avoiding starting this process? Which of my core beliefs am I disrespecting by not acting in alignment with my deepest desires? Another way to make sure you're diving deep is by being very specific. So ask more specific questions, such as, what is one thing I've noticed that is preventing me from progressing? The third step would be to get inspired. If you're not used to asking these sort of questions, you can start by getting inspiration from people who do. In other words, yes, it's okay to Google deep questions for self-reflection or questions for self-reflection to learn how to formulate them, but it's always more powerful to then adapt them to your own current circumstances. And that's it for today. Join me next time for another one of the lunch.